Okay, we are live and we are sharing. So I want to say huge good morning to everybody out there watching us and to everybody on here with me. It is absolutely brilliant to have you all with me again and raising my vibration. You sure are this morning, raising my vibration, because today's Therapy Talks is about choice. And when I woke up this morning, I felt a bit of ladies' hormones. So I had the choice to whether let it consume me or whether I choose to say, I understand what's going on inside my body and I choose to raise it instead. So I'm raising it, and you guys always help me raise my vibration. So I'm excited to be with you. So as I said, today is all about choice. Choice is one of the most fundamental gifts and blessings that we as human beings have, and as the animal world. Everything on this planet is gifted with choice. And sometimes people get stuck, or they feel stuck and unable to move forward, and restricted in avenues that they can possibly go down. Sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees. But as soon as you can change your vibration and understand, firstly, everyone goes through this. Everybody goes through periods of change. But if you can look at that situation and say, so what would happen if I did try this situation, or try something different? What else can I do that I'm not doing right now to change the situation that I feel stuck in, to choose? Because we have a million different choices, and really there is no right and no wrong, because fundamentally we all choose to really want to feel good. So our choices will be based for the greater good, really, of who we are. And if we are stuck in that little cloud, to be able to choose to lift yourself out of it, maybe by putting on some music that makes you feel really good and trying to raise your vibration that way, or just to recognize how many things in our lives that we've got to be grateful for, because gratefulness really, really does help lift the mood, like, and raise your vibration. So to choose to look at the good that we have rather than things that we don't have. And I tend to do that regularly. I really do try, and I don't try, I kind of I just do. I just choose to look at everything that I do have. So even if I am having a bit of a low day, I can choose to focus. I can choose to focus on what's important right now, what's important in the present, what's important for me now. Where am I feeling this awkwardness? Why am I feeling this awkwardness? What can I do about this situation to change that awkwardness? And just give myself some healing and anything that I need to choose myself to get up out of it. So for me, choice is it's the only place that we can really exercise our freedom of choice, which is in the present. So that's where I always start, and it's a brilliant place for anyone watching, if they are feeling like that, just to try and get into that present and to appreciate what you have right now, to feel what you're feeling right now, accept it, and know that it's normal, and to choose how you deal with that situation from the present, without inviting in anxiety or without inviting in fear from the past. So yeah, that's for me choice. So on that note, can I hand it out, please? So choice for you, Susie.
Yeah, thank you. Well, absolutely. I think choice is always there, and this is a question that I always ask my clients when we are doing a coaching session. Actually, this morning I had a session with somebody, and we were working on a quite recent memory, and then she realized that she had the choice to get there, that the choice was there to get in that particular situation, and we worked the choices that she had after. But you know me, I always like to bring the subject a little bit, to dive a bit into the spirituality and the philosophy before bringing it up to the material part of life. And I think that at the philosophical level, it's the main question that preoccupied me the most, actually, since forever. I mean, do we really have a choice or not? I mean, there is a destiny, or can we change things? And I had hard time, to be very honest, I had hard time choosing for a long time. Like I couldn't choose, I didn't know how to choose. And it took me a long time to understand what choice is, and afterwards to understand what smart choice is. Yeah, so it is clear for me now, and I'll try to articulate it for you too, to try to have a clear explanation. But I think, again, fundamentally and at a spiritual and philosophical level, I think that there's that's my personal understanding, okay? So let's be very clear about this. That there is only one choice that I have, which is to be or not to be the light. To be or not to be, this is the question, right? So to be or not to be the greatness, to be or not to be the light, to be or not to be what God created me, if we are to talk in Christian terms. So it has become very obvious to me that the only place where I can actually exercise my choice is there. And that's sometimes the play of the mind, sometimes thinking that we can choose something else, that we can choose not to be the greatness, that we can choose not to be the joy, that we can choose to be in depression when actually the only choice is joy. The only choice is love. The only choice is being fully who you are. So that's the paradox, because you see, there is a little ambiguity here, because separation from the source is never possible, you see. So the only place where we have the choice is in the mind. We can believe I have the choice to suffer, but the only place where this choice happens in the mind. In reality, in truth, now as we talk, we are all focusing on this subject, right? So our minds are producing these ideas, and we're firing pathways in our brains now. Our brain is working, and we don't think of being connected, right? But we are. Now we're thinking of choice. We talk about choice, but deep down, I'm connected with everything there is. So the only place where I have the choice not to be in the greatness is in my mind.
Yeah.
I don't know if it makes sense what I'm saying.
Oh, it totally does.
So this connection is impossible, but I can choose to lie to myself. And the choice that I have is actually between accepting the truth that I am connected or a belief that I am not. Right? That's the true choice that I have. To realize that I am here now connected with everything, or to believe any other belief that is other than that. To me, this is my own philosophical choice. But the only choice is to surrender to the source. And this is where the paradox is, right? Well, the only choice, the freedom and the choice that I have is to surrender to this.
But then the source is part of you anyway.
Yeah.
It's part of you. So you're surrendering to yourself.
Yeah. And making this choice, because if you work, that's why I'm bringing you there in that philosophical part, because I believe, and it's my own personal experience, that when you realize this, then any other little choice that you have to do in life will be much easier once you have this awareness. And then secondly, coming out from that and coming here down to earth today, practical level, we are a sum of memories and a sum of behaviors and pathways, right? And even yoga says it. We are having these samskaras, or the mental imprints, or the karmic seeds, if you want. And we know that 95 to 98% of our life is governed by the unconscious, our daily behavior. So the main question when it comes to real regular choice is to ask the question, who is making that choice? Who is choosing? Among all these bubbles, I see myself like full of bubbles with all kinds of memories and all kinds of influences, and who's the one who's choosing at what point in time? So when you choose a school, when you choose a partner, when you choose a career or a neighborhood or a pair of shoes, was it really a choice? Because some people get anxious about choosing. And that was my case, as I was always postponing, making a decision. If I take more time, if I can only think it over more, I'll make a better choice and I'll make a better decision. And there was something, what was it that he was saying, Alan Watts, about that? Because I love Watts, you guys know now, this philosopher. He was saying that basically the choice is the act of hesitation that I have before making a decision. So that's quite beautiful.
Yes, it is.
But through NLP, I think that the main question that Dr. Bandler was asking was, who is running the show? Who is driving the bus? See? So he was asking always, are you driving the bus or are you in the back seat? And most of the time when we are in the back seat, we're not driving the bus, obviously. And this is when things get weird in our lives.
Yeah.
So it's not only making choices, because I choose all the time, right? I choose to be in this conference call, or I choose not to be on it. I choose to spend time with my daughter, or to be here, or I choose to wake up early in the morning or not. So it's not only making choices, but making smart choices. And this is also what NLP brought to me, this notion of smart choice. Yeah. And for this one, we need to know more on how to drive the bus. We have to learn how to drive it, right? If I want to be the driver, I have to learn to drive it. So there is something in humans, which we call, maybe it's a term that we're all familiar with, which is called intelligence.
Yeah.
And it is the brightest form of our mind. And most of the time, it is the brightest part of the unconscious. There, we have to kind of delegate it. Because no matter what we think we are, we're always much more than that, right? So, you know, NLP states that the means of communication, the means of communication is the feedback. So when you choose something and it doesn't work, you know, you can choose something else. So people get stuck with choices. I make a choice and then it doesn't work and I stay stuck with it, right? So you can choose to fight against your past, or to feel that you have to clear your past and feel that you had trauma, or you can choose to build something else right now. You see, that's the difference, because people usually get stuck with that. What was the next? Because there was another important thing that I wanted to say, and it went away. Wait, it's gonna come. Yeah, it's about seeing life or yourself like a computer. If you have this computer now, first question is, what do you want to use it for? And then the second question is, okay, in order to do that, what programs do I need to install on it so it works for me? Yeah. In order to have this conference call, I had to install Zoom. And if I want to do video editing, I need to install a video editing program. If I had to program the editing program before doing editing a video, it would take me forever. So see, in practical terms, I see choice as the answer to this question. As the owner of the computer, what do I want to do with it? And what type of programs I need for that, and then install them, you know? Mm-hmm. And there are many, many possible ways, and they're fun in NLP. All these ways are fun. They're like really playful. You know, you really play with yourself in order to make a choice. Now I can, and there's another distinction I wanted to make between choosing and planning. Choosing can only happen in the moment. I can only choose now and for now. That's the confusion that we make often. I believe that I can choose now for what I do tomorrow morning. I believe I can choose now to do my yoga practice at 7 o'clock tomorrow. But the actual choice will happen tomorrow morning when I wake up and I'm thinking, I better stay a bit more in bed, or I will just get up to do it. But the choice that I have now for my yoga practice tomorrow morning is to create a state of, you know, drive and motivation and enthusiasm, and create that state now and anchor it in my body and program it so that tomorrow morning when I wake up, the first thing that I do is not, I don't know. I just get up, get off the bed and do my yoga. So to me, that's the choice. Choice happens now in the instant for what I do now. I can't choose for tomorrow. I can't choose for you, Danielle. I can't choose for what I do in 3 months from now. I can imagine what I can do in 3 months from now. I can plan that, visualize that, but my choice is only now. Yeah. And that narrows it to always doing something for what I want right now, not tomorrow.
That's right.
So that's about it.
That's
That makes
great. Thanks,
what I
Susanna.
want to
That's
say.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautifully worded yet again. Lovely.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, darling. So maybe we can go Aaron. Aaron, my darling.
Hi.
Choice. Hello,
Yes.
gorgeous.
Hi. So it's really nice listening to you, all of you, and kind of getting into a more creative state of mind, because I'm picking out words and interesting things you're sharing. So I something I picked up from you, Danielle, is the awareness in the present moment. I like that you're aware that of the things happening in your life and the choices, and really making the choice from that state of awareness. And Susanna mentioned the destiny of free will. I'm going to show this book. Actually, it's about that. Dr. David Hamilton. It's a wonderful book. I highly recommend it to anybody.
That looks good. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's basically the author combines science and spirituality. So it really is what we're talking about right now. And Suzanne also mentioned that if something is not working, do something different. So the flexibility and also the sensory acuity you can develop to know that something is not working. Okay, I can change it. So in the morning, I was talking about choice and choices. And as I was listening to you both, I quickly came up with 3 ingredients I think are very important when building confidence to make the right choices for yourself. And the first one is 100% responsibility. So as in NLP, we say, you're in charge of your mind, therefore of your results too. So take 100% responsibility because a lot of people live in a victim mindset, right? That, okay, I'm victimized by my environment, by my circumstances, and I have no choice. I can't do this, I can't do that. And that leaves them powerless. So making a choice from that state is now very powerful, now very confident. So 100% responsibility for your actions, for your thoughts, for everything. And now with the advanced technology and science, we know a lot more than 20 years ago. So 20, 30 years ago, people thought everything was hardwired. You can't change, right? You can't change ingrained habits. So the choices were limited. But now it's all opened up. People know that, the brain is plastic. It's capable to change structurally and functionally in response to your input and efforts. So that opens up a whole different game when it comes to choices. And this our second one is committing to finding your benefits and learnings in your experiences. So whatever choice you make, you commit to looking for those benefits and learnings that can make you grow. Because if you commit to this, you dissipate fear, and you're in a better position to make the right choices. And this leads to there's no failure, only feedback in NLP. So that's pretty much the foundation of that. A third one, intuition. When making a choice, I know Danielle is big on that, intuition.
Massive.
And so basically, it's a guiding force we have. It's an innate guiding force, and based on your values, beliefs, and experiences, you're always guided in a direction you're likely to succeed if you listen to your intuition. So anyway, these are the 3 ingredients I came up with.
I love that.
Hope it's helpful.
Yeah. And oh, that was brilliant, Aaron. Thank you, darling. I love you guys. You're just so articulate, all of you. And I was just going to say as well, the definition of choice, the power of choice. That's what, people say, it's the power of choice, because choice is power. We all have the power of choice. We all have the power. So It's a very powerful thing to, when you realize that you do have the power to change anything in your life and to choose any direction you want to go in. That's an amazing thing to be able to realize and to make it happen. So yeah, choose the power, choose the choice. So maybe we could go to Marie, my darling girl. Morning.
Morning again, everyone. Choices. Aren't we making choices every minute of the day? We choose to speak, we choose to walk, we choose to eat, we choose to drink. So on a physical level, I'd like to maybe drive from a physical level to make more of an NLP and then a bit more spiritual, and then make the loop, because it's all linked together, really. On the physical level, we choose. We can either have a mechanical choice of just taking care of our body or walking and just being functional. And we can also decide, as you mentioned this morning, Danielle, like, you know, we wake up one morning and we're not feeling so great. We've got the choice to accept it, and maybe that's a way to go for it. Or we've got a choice to say, how do I make it better? But what is very interesting in that case is to understand, when I make a choice, or if I don't make a choice, by the way, I also made the choice not to make a choice. When I do that, is it really me making that choice, or who is governing it? And for me, am I the pilot of my life, or am I just reacting to whatever is coming to me? And that brings to another dimension. One is to understand what are really the file and the subconscious, and that is what is influencing the choices I make every minute of the day, that themselves are going to influence what is the next choice I have to make. So that is one thing. And with NLP, we've got a lot of tools to go and try to understand what's the influence of my subconscious. Can I decide to make choice differently, or be aware of what is influencing my choices when I make them? And I mean, that is something that already gives a lot of confidence in the fact that we have the choice to go and dig further to understand. But I would like to say that the thought, I mean, the choices for me, it's also, if we want to take it a much more spiritual level and try to connect to our soul, we chose somehow to come into this vehicle of ours. And we've chose the life that we have. And how do I connect to that? Whenever we make a decision, for me, the best way to connect with myself, wouldn't it be to make a choice with the heart and not with the mind? And in that case, is that I'm asking you, in that case, you know, when you have those two decisions and you almost put those two decisions into your hands, and your mind, governed by your subconscious, and all the files that you have is pushing you to one direction, and then you try to simply feel in your heart, what is it you feel about that? Then you have the choice to either listen to the heart or listen to the mind when they disagree.
Yeah.
So for me, connecting to your inner self, where the choice is it really a choice, or is it whatever you're here for that governs you to make that choice? But you just listen to that heart and you make that decision, and then you get the mind to choose for the mind to honor what the heart wants to do. I don't know if I'm clear enough with that.
No, yeah, very clear, because
it's almost like the mind is a tool of the heart.
Yeah.
You trust the heart and then choose to let the mind do its job of a clever mechanism that will find the solution to honor the choice of the heart.
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Wonderful.
I mean, the thing is, if everybody chose to work from their heart, there'd be so much peace and love out there. I mean, really. And the thing is, we all have the power to choose to go from our heart. But sometimes as well, if you get stuck in a situation, or you feel like you're stuck in a situation, I think that if you can write down like the say 3 choices that you have to get through that. By writing it down physically, you're seeing it in front of you, so you're seeing your choices and not just thinking about it. So it's starting to come alive when you're writing it down. And then if you can just go from that present place and just breathe into it, and just what feels right to me out of these 3 choices that I've got, what out of these 3 choices feels good to me? What happens if I go that way? What won't happen if I go that way? What will happen if I, you know, all these questions that on each choice, and you can come from that, or you can just trust your gut and just go, I feel that's the one I want to go with, and go forward with confidence, with the fact that that's where you're coming from. You're coming from your heart, you're coming from your gut instinct, which is source energy, or you know, your angels, or from God, or from whatever you believe in, and you're guided, and you will not make the wrong decision, because you're coming from a place of good, and from a place where you're not needing it. You know, you'd like it, but you don't need it. So you're kind of opening up the doors, going, this is what I'd like. This would be really nice. Yeah, I don't need it, but yeah, let's go for this emotion or this feeling. So that's kind of where I sit on that. So yeah, I loved that. I love that the mind's a tool of the heart. That's so poetic. It's lovely. Thanks, Marie. And my Kate, my beautiful knowledge, Kate.
Hi, hey, yeah. Guys, you've all said just about everything I was going to say. So I think an interesting thing on choice would be the whole thing about overwhelm, because I think when you have too many choices, like I will give an example, personal example at the moment. I'm creating an online course, and I've got so many ideas that it's like, where the hell do I start? So too many choices can be overwhelming, and then you make no choice, do you? Because then it becomes, I don't know which is the right one, so I'm not going to do any of them, because then perfectionism comes in, doesn't it? And so then all the overthinking happens. And I think when you're in that situation, the only thing you can do is just do something, and it doesn't matter what it is, really, because if you've got all these choices and they all seem equal, then they probably are all equal. And so it's a case of just pick one and go with it, and then change as, you know, perfect as you go, because I think perfectionism can be a big enemy of choice. And so just pick something, go for it, and then adjust and feel your way. Because as we were saying earlier, I think Suzanne was talking about planning. You know, planning is great, but it's only good for that one moment, and then your plans, you know, I may wake up in the morning and then within 5 minutes they're all out the window because, you know, the cat's limping or something, I've got to go to the vets or whatever it is. So all you can do is do what's right for you in that moment. And your, like you say, your head, Marie was saying, your head is really there just to help you plan, but it's not going to help you choose. It can't. You know, the choice always comes from, it's either heart or your gut or wherever it is, where that feeling for you is inside, strongest for you. Connect with that, and you can't really go wrong when you do that. And so a lot of my work is all about intuition. Danielle, we talk about intuition. It is about knowing what's right for you in that moment. And it doesn't mean that tomorrow it'll be the same thing. Tomorrow it might be something different. And so you've always got to be tuning into that to know what's right for you in the moment. And so then that comes back to, well, how do I get to that place? And there are a lot of different techniques that we all use to help people do that. And I think also there's a lot of clients that I work with, sometimes they just need permission to choose. You know, they already know what the choice is they want to make, but they kind of just need permission. And so I would say also, if you have something that you know you need to choose now, then give yourself permission now just to do it, because that's all it takes. It's just a decision and a choice that you're going to make in this moment to do it or not. And that the responsibility, as Aaron was saying, is yours. So the other thing I think I wanted to talk about was, you know, sometimes we feel like we're in this place where, you know, something terrible happens in our lives and we feel like there is no choice and we're stuck in this place, or we're just in this terrible place of trauma or suffering, and we feel like there's no choice there either. But it's there is always a choice in there, you know, no matter what terrible things happen. And I'm reminded of the book by Viktor Frankl about his time in the concentration camps, where he chose to live. And by doing that and making meaning out of all the suffering that he was going through, all his family had been killed, he was in the most horrendous conditions, freezing cold with no shoes and having to work all these hours and no food and constantly worrying about dying. But he noticed the only people the ones that survived were the ones that found meaning in their suffering. And there was a choice that they made in that as well. And so no matter how much you think you're out of control and you have no choice, then there's always a choice with the meaning you put on something. And I'm reminded then of you've got two people standing on a beach and they're looking at the ocean. And one of them is looking out there thinking, God, I can't wait to get out there because they're a surfer and they just love being in the ocean. And the other one is scared of sharks, so they're not going to put a toe in the water. Yeah, and that's a choice. Yeah. But sometimes you feel like you don't have that choice. You feel like, because who's driving the bus? Is it fear? Is fear driving for you, or are you? You're in the back seat, and that way you never get to say where you stop, where you get off. If someone else is driving you forward, then that's a choice too. You can always get up and say, excuse me, I want to drive. And so how do you do that? It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. And we all struggle with this all the time. I'm not saying we're perfect either, but there are techniques and tools that you can use, and a lot of them you can do for yourself that can help you be freer to make that choice. Because at the end of the day, it is all down to that. While we're alive, everything we do is a choice. And so even if it's a choice not to do anything, as Marie was saying.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Kate, thank you. Yeah, go on, Marie. Sorry, go on.
Another thing that comes to my mind is when we have choices to make, and there's a lot of them, and we get a little bit confused. Isn't it as well because the choice means the decision we're going to make that we're getting stressed from the fact that either we're scared of losing whatever we've got by doing that action and that we don't want to lose? Or is it that we're scared that that choice is not going to empower us to get whatever it is that we're looking for, or not good enough? So isn't it about this as well that creates, the anxiety of the choice? Yeah. Because sometimes it says, but if I do that, okay, but that might work, that might not work, but if that doesn't work, oh my word, no, I'm going to lose that, that I don't want to. And so on. And I want to make that call because I really want to get in contact with that person or get that business or have this discussion. But what if it's not as good as it is? Then you know what? It's better maybe just not to do it, for example. So it's always the quest of what we want and we're scared not to achieve, or the fact we do not want to lose something that we want to retain.
That's right.
It's almost that. And what I find out from personal experience is sometimes there's this occasion where you almost like dissociate yourself and you look at yourself having that talk within your mind between you and you thinking, oh, come on, now that's it, And then I find that if you put a little bit of gentle pressure on yourself, saying, okay, imagine there's no consequences. If there's no consequences, whatever you do makes no difference. What do you want now? I said, I don't know. Now, like almost putting the pressure. And something comes out and it gives you, that is what I want. If there was no pressure to what if, this is what I want. If there's no what if. Okay, well, let's go with let's go with that. We'll deal with the what if later. And it's almost like it's just this little extra thing where you're almost like, when you run and you need to click on that button because you've got 3 seconds to do that choice, or to click on your banking statement and you get this OTP. And if you don't click on 3 minutes, it's to cancel the whole transaction. And this kind of little gentle pressure where you have to come up with something.
Yeah.
But to do that is just to say, there's no trouble. We'll deal with the if after. If there's no if, what do you do? And I find something always comes up, and that's normally just straight from the guts.
I love that. And it's having confidence in your choice. It's having confidence that you've actually been through a million things in your life where you've made decisions, maybe big, maybe little, maybe the choice to breathe as well, you know, like you're waking up, you're breathing. Sometimes you've chosen to get married, or you've chosen not to get married, you've chosen to have a divorce, you've chosen to make things work, you've chosen a job that you've wanted, you've chosen not to take the job that you thought you wanted. All of these choices, but you've made that decision and it's led you to where you are in your life right now. And you've walked those, you've worn those boots, you've walked the walk, and you've got through. So that, have confidence in the fact that that has got you to where you need to be right now. And even if you're coming from a place of fear right now, just have confidence and realize that fear is based on past experiences, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right here, right now. And anxiety is based on stuff that might happen, exactly what you were saying, Marie, and like but it's not going to happen. It's not right now. So the confidence to deal with things and to know that exactly you are capable and you are allowed to do whatever you feel that you want to do. So yeah, confidence to me is a lot. You know, it's everything to me. Confidence in who you are, confidence in decisions that we make. Yeah, confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think that's what people avoid making choices, because of the fear of failure. You know?
Yeah.
If we are to come down to NLP, I just had that thought now.
Yeah.
If human behavior, all human behavior is a process, then choice is a process as well. So what we do in coaching in NLP is that we understand how the person is making her choices, and what indications she's using, just to come out of that intuition. Not everybody is comfortable with intuition. You talk to them about intuition. Not everybody is comfortable with listening to your heart, because this is more for more like sensitive people. And some people are not like, I don't know how to listen to my heart, for instance. Then it's easier to go with, okay, so what do you do when you make a choice? Tell me last time when you chose something, because obviously you made choices so far that worked for you. And so we identify the process. What's the first thing that you do? The second, and we observe the mechanism. There is a process that is simple, and we can use it for this particular situation when you don't know how to choose. So this is one way to do it. And there was something else about that. It will come back to me. Yeah, well, that's it for now.
Do you know what though? I'm so glad.
Yeah, sorry, it's about following an example. So look at people that make or seem to make right choices in life. You know, people that succeed at whatever level. It doesn't have to be only the people that make lots of money, have success in their businesses, at any personal or individual or business level. People that succeed make choices. And by observing people that make choices and asking them, hey, how do you make the choice? You will learn, because everything is a process that can be learned, including making choices. For me, that was the case. I learned how to make smart choices and connected with the values, like Aaron was saying, or that philosophical part where I'm connected with that main choice, that I want to be that beauty. I want to be that joy. I want to be that. Then everything else, the choice becomes easier, right? You just have to learn how to do it concretely, step by step. And then it's even better when that becomes unconscious. See, because we think we have to make that choice with effort, and that I have to struggle every day to choose between eating a pizza or having a healthy meal. But what if we can just program that? So the unconscious program is programmed with this. And then I just don't feel for pizza anymore. I just feel attracted to healthy food. I just want and feel to do yoga in the morning. And I just want to make choices that are making other people happy, not just myself. So program that because I want. So the choice is in the programming. I can program it and let that run for you. Because if 95 to 98% is run by the unconscious, I'll never be able to change that percentage. So I'd rather put the right program in there, because my capacity of awareness and consciousness during the day is only 2 to 5%. So I will not always be able to be aware of what's going on and make a choice. I'll have to let the unconscious mind to make that choice for me, but I have to tell him what to choose. And yeah.
That was brilliant. Yeah, that's 100%. Do you know what? You guys just ground me. That's what I love about you so much, because honestly, sometimes before I do my talks, I'm in my state of like, oh, I hope I actually say the right things, or, you know, I hope I don't just come out with a load of bleh. Because it's possible, honestly, right? And I may look confident sometimes, but sometimes I'm sitting there going, what the Nora's going on, you know? But you guys, whenever I'm constant, I'm focused on you, you ground me. And it's like that confidence, it's just like, you give me so much. I'm so grateful. And it's funny because Lee, she's not with us today. She's doing something else. But Lee was saying to look at the book. And I've just got a quote from it, actually, from Edith Eger, The Choice. And this is a quote that came from that book. And it was a brilliant, it's full of these amazing quotes. So Lee, if you're watching this, thank you, because that book, it looks incredible. So this is one of the quotes. Time doesn't heal. It's what you do with the time. Healing is possible when we choose to take responsibility, as Erin said, when we choose to take risks, and finally, when we choose to release the wound, to let go of the past or the grief. I think that's just such a beautiful, beautiful quote. And there's one more that I wanted to say as well from that book, because there's like a million in this book. I'm going to have to go and read the book now. But it says, here you are in the sacred present. I can't heal you or anyone, but I can celebrate your choice to dismantle the prison in your mind, brick by brick. You can't change what happened. You can't change what you did or what was done to you, but you can choose how you live now, my precious. You can choose to be free. Oh, isn't that lovely? Lee, thank you for that gift, because that is such a beautiful thing. And we can, you know, we can choose to be free and choose how we live right now. Yeah, just cut the noise. Any noise that's going on, that's clouding your choice. I tend to find if you go into that present state and really focus on what's important, that noise just dissipates and you are left with, you know, the choice to be able to be made a lot clearer. So, yeah, Lee, you rock. Through the computer. So does anyone else want to say anything? Like maybe Aaron?
Yep. I was just going to say something.
Yeah,
You read my
please.
mind.
Yes, I like it.
So I really like these quotes. They really empower you when you identify yourself with that line of words. And something came up for me is a kind of like a concept that could take the pressure off of your emotional brain, if you will, when you're trying to make the right choice. That there's no right or wrong. So there's no such thing as, yes, as Susanna mentioned, smart choice. We want to make the smart choice, but I don't think there's right or wrong in that sense, because whatever choice you make, you will have a learning experience. It's a learning experience. When you say, I want to make the right choice, you put the pressure on yourself. And then you are not in the state of mind to make that choice in the first place, because you know, you have fear kicking in. And this is something I learned on a neural language coaching course 3 years ago. And the trainer said to us, because we had to kind of speak up and share ideas, and I was kind of scared. Oh, what am I gonna say? Is it gonna be okay? And she said, she instilled this in us. She always said every time that there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. And it felt liberating. You know, talking about your ideas and everything. And it's the same thing. It applies to making choices. There's no right or wrong. That's all I wanted to share. Yeah,
and the thing is as well, we come from so many different areas of life. We're all the same heart, and you know, we're all after the good in the world. That's what I love about us. We're heart people, but we do come from so many different areas as well, and knowledge bases and training bases and everything that you guys do. It's something to be celebrated, the fact that we are so diverse, and the fact that that our choice may be completely different to someone else's right next to us. But it doesn't mean that we're different heart people. We could all be the same heart people, but it just means that we maybe see things a little bit differently. Perspective is massive on that, you know. So yeah, I celebrate our diversity, and I do, and I look up to you all, and just I learn just everything, and I'm so open to learning. I don't, honestly, without you guys, like every week I'm like learning more and more, and it's like it's filling me up with this good. I'm like a tap that's just been turned on, and I'm overflowing now. That's it. I'm filling up a swimming pool. That's it. We're outside. Talking of swimming pools, I'd like to go swimming. That'd be nice. But hey, yeah. So oh, I'm grateful. Does anyone want to do? We've got 15 minutes. Maybe like a little technique or something. I don't know. We haven't discussed it, but that doesn't matter. I mean, we could do maybe a visualization.
For me, is, for instance, there's just a proposal. You can, anybody else can propose something else about this feeling of clarity, because clarity too, and the choice is, as I said, it's a sort of a process, and it's a feeling in the body. And let's say that you are now, even if there's no right or wrong choice, you would still have to make one. And if you don't use that criteria of right and wrong, there has to be some other criteria you're using in order to access that choice. And if you're not capable to connect to the value right away, then, and even if you are connecting, it's still hard to choose, then you can access this feeling of clarity. So I was thinking maybe because that can be elicited very easily in the body.
That'd be wonderful. Yeah, please.
I'm just telling you quickly, and then if you want, we can do it.
Oh, I'd like that.
Think of a moment when you had real clarity about making a choice, because there were moments like that. And you know, identify what it is in the body. You take it, you amplify it. If you have a picture, you make it brighter, and then you amplify it and you anchor it, and that's, here you go. And then you have a feeling of clarity anchored in your body. And next time you have to make a choice, you use it, and then it becomes clear. So that's one thing we can do. If anybody else has something else, please go ahead. I don't.
Oh, I love you, Susie. I'm touching you through the screen.
Oh, Kate, because you have beautiful meditations, Kate, and your voice is wonderful as well.
Oh, Kate's, yeah, well, you all are. Kate. Oh, can't hear you. Kate, can't hear you. Can't hear you.
Sorry, yeah. There's also another technique, and maybe we can do both. I don't know how much time we have left, but there's another one where you tune into what your head says about a choice you have to make, what your heart says, and then what your gut says, and you tune into each of them, and they all have something different to say. And then that helps you. So that's another one.
That sounds nice. Should we do that? Should we do that?
Yeah. Well, no, as I say, that maybe
I like that.
To do both.
Well, like, yeah. I mean, why not? Are they quick techniques, or
we have to choose? Why don't we do both?
Let's choose. I like the head.
Quite short. I mean, it's not. You want to start, Kate, or you want me to start?
Do both.
You choose.
Start first. If there's time, I'll do mine.
Go on, Susie.
I make to let her choose.
You see. The choice is no choice.
Go, Susie.
All right. So maybe it'll be useful for all of you to think of an area of your life where you need to make a choice now. That will be more practical. It will be nicer to be able to apply it right away. An area of your life where you would like to have more clarity, we would like to have more of that feeling of knowing, so that you can make the choice that best serves you right now where you are in your life. They will bring you the best results, because you know, we should not be ashamed to talk about that. Results are what matters, right? In a way, if I see results, then I want to continue doing that. Even if it's just a choice for how you want to feel now, you know, or just to feel that you want to have a choice. And then I would like you to think of a moment in your life in the past, because there have been moments. And I'm pretty sure you already have one in mind just by talking about this subject or hearing it now. There were moments in your life when it was very clear for you what you had to do. And perhaps you have one picture, or you have several pictures, or perhaps it'll be just a feeling in your body, or maybe some sound in your voice, but there's going to be a taste of that moment in the past when you had to make a choice and you knew exactly what to do. Whether it was big or small, it doesn't matter. It was a choice, because you always make a choice. Even now doing this exercise is a choice you're making, because you want to feel better. And you're always searching for that state where you feel empowered, where you feel good about life. So just allow that memory to come to you right now in whatever shape or form. And if you have a picture of it, however small or dim, just bring it closer to you, closer to your eyes, and look at it from close. And even if you don't know how, or you think you don't know how, just allow the picture to become brighter and bigger and amplify that moment when you knew and it felt so clear. Make it brighter, bigger, more intense. Look at it from close, and then notice there's something in your body. There is a feeling in your body when you get that clarity. When you know, there is a particular area in your body that resonates with that feeling. When it's clear, it's so clear that you have no doubt. It's your gut feeling or something else. In any case, it's a pleasant sensation, because when you get that to that place of clarity, it feels good. And you don't even think about other possibilities. It's so clear that there is only one choice, actually. That's right. And when you get that feeling, I want you to give it quickly a color. Don't think too much. The first color that comes to your mind. And from there, where you feel it in your body now, make it stronger and bigger. That color become more and more intense. And make even that feeling a little bit larger as size, and then start circulating and spinning it through the entire body, making it more intense, more and more intense, even more intense, and double that intensity, and double the intensity of the color and of the feeling. Bring it up to the top of your head and down to the tip of your toes, and spin it through the entire body, and make it faster and faster and bigger and stronger. And when it is, just bring the two fingers, both index and thumb, together of both hands, and hold them like that for a few seconds. That's right. And then you can release the gesture. And you can feel something now throughout your body. Something happens, a feeling of clarity. And clarity becomes even more clear to you from now on. And every time from now on when you need clarity, you just have to do this gesture, and things will become so crystal clear. Clearer than the crystal. And that's right. When you're ready, you can just open your eyes, take a deep breath, and come back to now.
That's very powerful. That's really, really powerful. I was seeing purple spinning all the way up and down me, like a spinning
and
top.
now let's complete the exercise. Think of that moment of that particular situation you had to make a choice that you thought at the beginning of the exercise.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, on them.
And do the anchor. And just allow that energy of clarity to run throughout your entire nervous system while you think of your choice that you need to make. And let it work for you. And in a couple of minutes, a couple of hours, by tomorrow morning, you'll know exactly what you have to do.
Yeah. And it's quite funny what you're saying as well, because it's made me think back to it. There's been some areas in my life that I've had to make huge decisions. But as you say, there really was only one decision, because I felt so, on the lead up to that decision, it was almost like I was put myself under so much pressure and so much anxiety because of what might happen if I didn't, this thing didn't happen, or you know, if it wasn't good enough, or all these things. It was like a storm. And as soon as I decided and I made the decision and chose, it was a calm. And it was just like a feeling, and it's been the same thing. It's like an inner knowing. I just trusted myself. And as soon as I trusted myself, all those times in my life, the big things, it all made sense. It all worked.
You know exactly what to do to get there.
Yeah.
So we basically use past memories, and when we just insert them now, use them now.
Trust will make the right decision. Thanks, Susie. And Kate, my darling, I love the idea of the mind, body, and soul kind of thing. That was really good. Kate, would you do yours?
We've got time. Okay.
Yeah, have we got 5 minutes? Is it 5 minutes?
Okay, fine. Yeah, no problem. So
time limit. Oh, that was great.
So I would say pick something else if you've got something else to make a choice about, or you can choose the same one if you want. It's no problem. If you've already got one in mind, then keep that one in mind, and just come up with something that you need a bit more clarity about, and just focus on that for a moment. Just what is the choice you need to make now? What is the choice? And when you have something, then I just invite you to ask your head, what does your head have to say about it? And now we're just asking your head. So we're asking that part of you, that part of your mind, because I believe your mind is made up of a whole team in there. And so we're just asking one part of your team, which is your head. And what does your head say? What does it suggest? What's it saying? Is it saying things like, oh, you need to worry about this, or you know, think about this, or what are the consequences of this, or you know, you don't want to do it that way, or you know, what's coming up for you? What's your head saying now? And do you just nod when you have something from your head? Yeah, good. Suzanne? Yeah, great, good. And then I'd like you to take that same question, that same choice, and just move down into your heart, to this place of feeling and emotions, and what does your heart say about it? So the head has to shut up now. It's got nothing to say anymore. It's had its turn. Now we're just going into your heart and just asking, what does my heart say? What's coming up for me there when I think about this choice? You may just get a feeling, you may not get any words, it may just be a feeling, or as we were talking earlier, maybe a colour or movement, just something, or a pull maybe towards one or the other, or maybe a moving away from one or the other choice, whatever that might be. And again, as we were saying before, there's no right or wrong here, we're just getting advice, aren't we, from different parts of ourselves. So when you have something now from your heart, just thank your heart for that information, that advice, and then just going down now even deeper now, this is right into the core of you, that place, usually for most people it's around in their belly somewhere, that place that is the core of them, where they truly exist, that place, from where all knowledge really comes, all wisdom is there, never changing. Going into that place now, and just asking that place for any advice it has about this choice. And then when you have something, just nod your head. Great, good. And now just maybe imagining that choice now is like on a screen in front of you, all the choices, maybe you have many, there are lots of screens. And just looking at all of those screens in front of you. And just notice now, which ones are you drawn to now, having all this advice that you've had? And which piece of the advice did you listen to most when you were listening to your head and your heart and down into your gut? Which part seemed the most true to you? And then does it then take you to one of those screens? Does it take you to one of those choices now? Does it make it slightly easier? Maybe there's a few of those screens you can just discard now because you don't want those anymore. And then maybe you're getting a bit more clarity now about which one works for you most. And then just notice also which part of you did you trust most in this process? When you listened to them, when you really tuned into each of them, which one did you trust the most? And that might give you some clues now for how you make choices in the future. And then whenever you're ready, just come back to now, open your eyes.
Wow.
So who did you trust? Who did you trust most, guys, when you were listening?
My gut.
Your gut.
Yeah.
Same here.
Yeah. Yeah. So often, Marie, did you? Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Unusual feeling. I was normally feel my gut very well. I was focused on the heart, but more so the third eye was like flipping, rolling everywhere. So it actually shifted onto that instead of the gut. That's kind of
interesting. Well, yeah, that's
very interesting.
You're seeing from there, yeah. So that's your clarity.
It just came from a lot of energy, immense energy there.
Fabulous. So, and that's it. And so the gut, we say gut feel, but it could be anywhere. Like for me, then it was coming from here, but just knowing, that knowing, isn't it, rather than thinking. The thinking mind is usually full of fear. There's all sorts of, oh, what if, don't do this or whatever. The heart, usually when I do this with people, the heart is following the mind. It's all the feelings about the fear usually are coming in with the heart. And then the gut usually is just this sane part of us that just tells the truth for us. And so that's how it works for me. And certainly when I work with other people with this, usually they come to this place where they just know.
And Aaron, what did you get from that? Head, heart, or gut?
Definitely gut.
Yeah.
Yeah, gut. It was nice to separate everything. I really like this technique.
Yeah, very, very good. And it was so very different. They were also very different. What was so? Yeah. Oh well, thank you. Yet again, you smashed it out the ballpark. Go. Thank you all so much. And anyone that's watching this, I hope you've had as much value out of this as what I have. Because my gosh, I feel like I've been reset. My vibration's high again. my waking up mood has now been elevated, and now I'm part of the cloud, so I'm good now. So thank you all that's been watching, and thank you everyone for joining me today. And make sure that you come and see everyone's channel. I'm going to list everybody below, and check everybody out, and go and say hello to everyone. And if you need any extra help or any advice, if you have any things that you need to work through in your own life and you'd like to see one of us, please just don't hesitate to get in touch. We're doing a lot of clients over Zoom and stuff. So, just because there's a lockdown happening in different areas of the world doesn't mean that we can't help on other levels. So please do contact us and make the right choices, because you will. Why wouldn't you? So guys, we'll see you next week. Have a wonderful weekend. Enjoy the sun. And I'm going to sign off from live now. And love.
Bye.
I've stopped live stream, and I think it's stopped now.
And the recording, if you want to stop the recording as well.
Should I stop recording? Yeah. Right, let's stop recording.
So if you want to